Hi, Internet viewers. This is Frank Rauscher again. We're going to proceed on from the last video, and we're going to start shaping the Carolina wren. So I just want to explain something to you as far as what we've done so far, or what I intended to do. This is the Carolina wren. And what I'm trying to do here is to make this, if you look at it, this bird's kind of chubby. And in the way wrens tend to move and what have you, they get a little chunkier in spots. At least they look that way. And sometimes they look thinner. And of the Carolina wren, it's a much bigger wren than you normally see the house wren or the winter wren. So I want to just show you, like, if you can see the thickness on this, I sort of made it plump. And as we design this, we're going to accommodate that. Like, here's what like a winter wren is, and he's really slim. When you look at it, they're really thin. And this is an old one I did way back when. And so just wanted to show you, not all birds have to be heavy or fat or anything else like that. Here's a house wren that I've done that I've also, and if you look at it, it's not that, it doesn't have that much thickness into it. And what we're doing with the Carolina wren, the wren is bigger normally anyway, but we're keeping him a little fuller, and he has a little more of a peel. And you could do this with birds, okay? Sometimes they scrunch up and they loosen up. So I just want to give you some ideas of how you can change patterns around, or I do this all the time. Almost every bird I've done, even like with the cardinal before, or the finch, the house finch I did before on the videos, they were different, every one. In fact, I usually put the year I created on it, because I always change the position, maybe make it fuller, make it a little slimmer. So you have that choice. So I just want to give you that and let you know that you have that in your arsenal when you're thinking about doing this. If you happen to take too much off of a bird and you're worrying about it, I wouldn't do that. I would just remember, like humans, some of us are heavy, some of us are light, and thinner. So it goes the same with birds. So bear with me. I'm going to bring the camera down, and then we'll start setting up for shaping the Carolina wren. So here we go. Okay, here we go again. This is the blank we cut out. And sometimes when I really cut the blank out right the way it should be. And then every once in a while, like this is one I cut out before, and you could tell this had more material on it. And a lot of times, if you want to try to stay true, you stay true to the outline. Sometimes I just didn't get it in tight, and you leave more material, and it just takes a little more work to get it down. But don't concern yourself. That could happen, okay? So what I want to do now is start to establish a center line. And we work everything off of the center line. There's a center line of the body and the center line of the head. And everything is symmetrical about that center line. Whatever we do on one side, we do on the other. And then the head has its own center line, and all these dimensions apply in here. So I'm going to show you how to apply all these different dimensions. But the first thing we need to do is we're going to measure across the width. And even though I've cut some of these corners off, we're still going to the outside edge. So I'm measuring from the outside edge to outside edge. So I'm laying my ruler so I can look down. Excuse me, didn't mean to bang the camera again. And I'm getting about 1.5 inches. So if I come in 3/4 of an inch and put a dot, that should be halfway. Then the other thing I'm going to do, the tail is worth, maybe 7/8. So 7/8, I'm going to go 7/16 as half and put a dot there. So what I'm going to do is, let's see, I'll do this one first. I'm going to lay this. I'm going to try to project another dot in between here to make it easy for you. I'm going to lay my ruler. Oh yeah, let me do something else here too, which helps. I use one of these. These are like a mat for when you're in cabinets, you don't want things to slide. You can buy these at a dollar store and cut this up. It's like a roll. So I usually use this, and it actually helps as to stop things from sliding on a table that you have, and it really helps a lot. So I'm just going to line this ruler up from dot to dot here, and then project another dot in between that's along that edge. So all these dots are running along the edge of the ruler here. So this way, it's kind of hard with this tail kicking up so far. So if I get the dot I just projected down to this dot here in the middle of the body, I can run that line from there. Then to help me out to do the tail, excuse me again, it's my hat's banging into. Okay, I'm going to line this up, the dot here. Let me project this out a little bit more. Oh, I did that right. Hang on 1 minute. Just want to check myself. That is correct there. And this is in line. It's always good to double check. Yeah, I'm in there. I'm gonna take a license and just move the dot down like I'm continuing this center line right there. And then I'll lay my ruler. I apologize again for shaking the camera. And I'm going to run that right up. So now we got a center line going right on through up to here. Okay. And I'm not going all the way up to the head because I'll show you that in a minute. Now, where we have it coming up to the end of the tail, I'm going to just turn it around, or you can measure again on the back side. Come up here, and remember we had a width of about 1.5 inches, which is still the same on the bottom. I come in 3/4 of an inch on the end here, or in the middle, I should say, and get the tail dot and line these up and draw a line right up. And then I'll continue that straight line like that. Now I got a center line on the bottom. I got a center line on the top. Now, to establish the beak has a certain width. When I cut this off with the bandsaw, it's kind of squared up. But I'm going to take the middle of the width of the beak here and put a dot in the middle there. I'm sort of eyeballing that, but you could measure it too. Okay, then you can see this wedge or that's coming out. I'm going to come out about, let's see, let me get about 3/8. So from this edge to this edge, I'm measuring across 3/8 as I look down my ruler. I'm going to split that in half, and that will give me 3/16. So at the 3/16 mark in on either end, I put a dot. So that gives me a dot in the beginning and a dot at the end. So I'm going to lay this in like this so that I got dot to dot, and I'm going to draw this back. Now, let me just check myself out again, because my overall width that I need for this in my cheek area, and I don't know if you can see this. Let me move this back. I've been shifting this. In my cheek area, it needs to be at least 7/16 from the center out. So let's see if I have 7/16 there. Yeah, I'm a little bit more about, I have about a 1/2 inch. So the head at least has to have that value from the center out, and I do have that. And if you look down on this, we're pretty good. From here to here is at least a 1/2 inch. So we're good there. So we can extend this up. This is the center line of the body up, so it just touches the center line of the head. Both of them are working on their own, and when we come down the bottom here, we could draw this up more just to extend it, but we don't need to do the head. The head is working on its own. So we're going to then mark and take some of this down. Okay, we have this really squared up. So what we're going to do is we're going to approach hogging some of this down. And I'm probably going to do this on the next video as far as taking it down, but I want to explain it to you here, what I'm doing here. I'm putting lines in so that you could see it where I actually knock some corners off. I didn't come right on up to the underneath side here. I did it in this area here, I did it in this area here, and I did it in this area here. And it's just to save you from having to grind this away. So what I'm going to do, I want to round the body, okay, so that we have a nice round shape going. And right now it's we got edges galore here. So I take an approach that I want to keep the center line. The center line in this body here is true. We're not going to change that. We may take a little bit off, but very little on the center line. Everything else is rolling. And when we get to the middle of the body, say between here and here, I'm going to get my 2 fingers here, this and this. If you find about the midway here, I'm going to draw a line. I'm eyeballing this, but I'm pretty close. So between this and this, I'm saying that's the middle. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. It's from my finger here to my finger here. And I'm going to put this line right in here. Okay? And that's the middle of the body between here and here. So when we start hogging, and what I mean, I'm going to bring in the Fordham, and we're going to do some power carving where we're going to take this down. So I'm going to take an approach like this. I'm going to take a mark about maybe a quarter of an inch off of the center line, and I'm going to attack this edge. And I'm also going to put a mark in between this wedge here so that I can start rounding this, and I'm going to roll this so that that edge disappears. I'm not going to go up into the tail. And then I'm going to go from this mark, after I got this rolling, I'm going to roll it down to here. And then we're going to do the same thing down here. We have from here to here, I'm going to split it so I can roll this and get this rounded over. And then from here, I'm going to roll it up to here, and we'll get that thing rounded over. So on the next video, I'm going to show you how we do this, and I'll bring the Fordham into the picture. And I'm going to also explain that for those who have a Dremel or something like that, I'm going to show you another way of doing it. Or if you have a micro grinder, you can do the hogging on small things like this. It's not too bad. But on bigger items where you have a bigger carving or something like that, the micro grinder, which is this guy here, which is or even your Dremel, will take a beating after a while. So I don't like to do too much hogging with my micro grinders, but I can do it, and I'll show you how to do that too, and with the bits that are available. So hope you got something out of this portion, and I didn't confuse you at all, I hope. And what I'll do is we'll go into hogging this out on the next step of shaping the wren. And hope you got something out of it. And if you did, give me a thumbs up. And if you would subscribe to my channel, I'd appreciate that too. And hope to see you on the next video. Thanks.